Okay, hello there, good evening and welcome to the Elite's FPL podcast. We're going to be reviewing all the game week action from Gameweek29. If you are in the live chat, please say hello, let us know how you get on with your team. Any questions, just ask us in the chat. And yeah, if we just start by recapping on the results from Saturday.
Yeah, I might as well take over, do a solo podcast and set this whole thing up because everything seems to go. So, yes, Dan, let's hear your quick thoughts on Spurs drawing with you lot 1-1. Harry Kane with the goal, Ramsey with the goal, Lacazette with the assist. How did the game go for you? It's a real-life perspective.
We played really well, man. Socrates was immense. Mkhitaryan, that's the best I've seen him play for Arsenal. Really nice to see Ramsey get a goal before he goes off to Juventus in his last North London derby. Spurs lucky, the equaliser. I'm sure FPL Buna would disagree. But yeah, the equaliser was offside because when the free kick went in, there was 3 Spurs players offside. I didn't think Kane looked very good in the game. I thought he was quite selfish. He could have assisted and passed a Son in some positions. So Kane looked a bit sluggish. And I thought, Arsenal looked really good and a bit unlucky. But Aubameyang looked a bit short on confidence with a penalty. And obviously Torreira now suspended for 3 games, which is a massive blow. But yeah, wouldn't be rushing to get any Arsenal assets in. But maybe after the Man United game, decent run of fixtures, Mkhitaryan. I know Daniel Benson's got him in. Maybe a differential there.
So moving on to 2 1-0 victories, one for Man City. Very, very disappointing for people like Jason, who captained Sterling. Mahrez getting the only goal of that game with David Silva, Jason's best mate of the past, getting the assist there. Brighton winning 1-0. A player I've never even heard of, Andone, whatever. Assisted by the player that I had all that time, Knockout, who did nothing for me. My lads losing 3-1, according to my dad. We were absolutely shambolic. Zaha and Batshuayi scoring. There was an own goal by Phil Bardsley. Schlupp, Wan-Bissaka, Kawata with the assists. And Dan mentioned it in his live rant. Ashley Westwood assisting another Ashley, Ashley Barnes, the player which I told everybody to get. But no, everybody went for Rondon. Yay, Rondon, the player that doesn't have done nothing since. But whatever, that's a little annoyance off my chest. I could rant all day about people in FPL, the way they talk. But anyway, United winning 3-2. Lukaku, somebody that I'm seriously looking at to replace Rashford with. He's in really good form at the moment. That's his, 2 double-digit goals in 2 games. Lukaku getting 2, Pereira with the Ward-Prowse, Valerie getting the 2 goals for Southampton and about 5 different assisters. So Dalot, Fred, Pereira, so 3 complete differential players there, and Armstrong and Austin for Southampton. Wolves, of course, the Jota and Jimenez double up. Didn't improve or get any more goals or assists for the rest of the game. Ended 2-0 there. Again, another 2-0 victory coming up with West Ham. I didn't realise Declan Rice was a defender, and I was seriously considering looking at bringing him in, but without a double, a double fixture coming up, I'm not really interested. But yeah, Rice, Noble getting the goals there. Chicharito and Snodgrass with the assists. Moving on to Sunday, the shock result, but everybody thought Brendan Rodgers would have it easy when he came in, but Watford beating Leicester 2-1. But the Bellamy brothers, they got him in. Do you know what? I'm a bit annoyed at myself for not getting Vardy now. He was going to be He was either getting him on a -4 or Trent Alexander-Arnold off the top of my head. I can't remember what I was planning on doing. It's completely gone. His game week keep going as quickly as possible. I kind of regretted not getting in Vardy for Rashford, but that's by the by. So Vardy's continuing to score a record. That's 2-2. Now then, we'll discuss this in a minute. On to Chelsea winning 2-1. Jorginho and Higuain, Jason's by there. Higuain getting the goal there, the second goal as per Equator, and my captain Hazard assisting. Of course, Hazard getting I don't know where the hell that 1 bonus come from, but when I was looking at everything, he wasn't getting a point at all. But yeah, Higuain getting the 2 there for Jason, and then of course Everton 0, Liverpool 0. I believe Daniel know this. That's what, three tight games now with Everton.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, it was interesting about the history in the reverse fixture. Liverpool only beat Everton 1-0 the 95th minute goal. Origi. That's when Origi became essential after doing nothing for Liverpool over the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, it is always interesting looking at the reverse fixture. And I said it would be a tight game. You said Bournemouth and Man City would be a tight game, and I kind of laughed at the time, but it was only 1-0. So it's getting to that stage of the season now where teams have got a lot to play for, and Merseyside derby is always going to be tight.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up about what we mentioned in our predictions, because you and I, this is quite incredible, very rare for this to happen, but you and I got 8 correct outcomes right, and I got 2 bang on, which was the Spurs game and the Brighton game. You got the Brighton game as well, bang on.
8 games also, right.
8 games outcomes right, yeah. And obviously now, bookmakers, like I keep saying this with the Super Bowl thing, you and I will be doing really, really well at it, really well this year, but that's the big subject matter. So you also mentioned the history, and bizarrely, the 3 players that I looked at, so Vardy, Hazard and Trent Alexander-Arnold, they literally repeated what they did in the reverse fixture. So Vardy, last time he played Watford, got a goal. Hazard only got an assist versus Fulham, and Trent Alexander-Arnold with the 1 clean sheet. But yeah, I think we'll just move on to the leagues at the moment. But Jason, we're going to come out with your old cliche line of what the people are saying in chat. So what are the people saying so far, Jason, before we move on to our mini?
Okay, so we've got a lot of new faces in chat. So great to see all of you guys back in chat again. It's Monday, and right at the beginning of the stream, I was watching the comments, and we had the comments saying, really impressive setup, such a great graphical podcast, blah, blah, blah. And then we had the technical difficulty. It just had to happen, just completely throw that one out of the water. But yeah, sorry about that at the beginning of the podcast, guys. We'll cut that bit off. We don't need to let the guys watching on replay to see the Dan Dalek voice bullhead. So, but we got Vince Chapman in chat, Clement LaRue, the Daily Llama. Good evening. We've got Calwi76, Clement. I think I said Clement LaRue. Sultan Saeed's in chat. We've got Jason Yorath, who's actually subscribed. And it's nice to see that. I keep cracking up when I see that animation come up. Adam Humphreys 99. Guys, thank you for stopping by. Gunners of Glory is in chat. Hi guys, just joined your league, FPL Hitman. I ended up with 58 points. Massive green arrow too. Excellent, well done. Looks like you're in the right league for that. Can we have 1 minute silence? Aman Dillon in chat says, can we have 1 minute silence for us Pogba captainers? 16-point swing. You can certainly have a minute's silence, but maybe at the end of the podcast. We've got West Ham in good form. Yes, when we're talking about Declan Rice and other possible other assets, a bit frustrating owning Arnautovic, but I do think he's going to feature in future games. We'll get to that. So yes, I've kind of caught up. FPL Boone is stopping in just for a couple of minutes because he's got to go and out of a meal with his missus or something. Apparently that's more important than watching our podcast. I'll have to have words. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. The game weeks, another not a very high scoring game week for most people. Better than the previous game week. There's obviously a lot of drama with Aubameyang and Pogba missing penalties, and then the yellow card incident. Just to compound the misery for Pogba captainers. Yeah, welcome, Jason. It's nice to have you here. And is sure to Trent Alexander-Arnold a good move this week if using a free hit in double game week 32? Is sure to Trent? Yeah, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold is on an absolute blind. He's just flying at the moment, and he's providing a great attacking threat down the right hand side for Liverpool. And with Robertson and Trent, you've got great value. Obviously, you're going to then have to choose between Mane or Salah as your third Liverpool, because I think every man and his dog is going to want 3 Liverpool assets going forward if they haven't got it already. So some people are choosing Mane over Salah. That's another discussion that's going to pop up again. Salah, of course, blanking now. Is it for the 3rd week in a row? I don't think he's ever... Someone
must be an optimistic, Jason.
Yeah, so why? What is he? Is it more than 3 game weeks? Is it 4?
No, I'm just sorry. I'm being facetious.
Yeah,
But
I think it's the third blank. Right. Okay. So third in. Right. So yeah. We'll talk about our teams. First of all, Steve-O, who would you like to start off?
We'll do the usual order. You're top of the league. We'll start with you. 52 points. You're now. We'll come on to my little mini rant about how the hell I should catch you. But the gap's been now stripped down to 64 points. 52 points. You didn't take a hit. You brought in Higuain for Aubameyang. Take it away, Jason.
All right. So as the deadline approached, Saturday morning, I had this feeling. I had this gut feeling that I wanted Aubameyang out of my team. I didn't think he was going to do anything at Tottenham. So I was like, right, who would I rather have on my team, Son or Aubameyang, for this fixture? And I know that, with Harry Kane being back, I figured that there would be a decent threat for Tottenham. So I decided to keep Son for this week. He will be moved out over the coming weeks. And yeah, I transferred out Aubameyang for Higuain, because obviously not only because of the fixtures, but also the blank game week coming up. He's a kind of, I wouldn't say he's smart. Obviously, he's second favourite to Hazard. I think the majority of people getting Hazard in. Certainly, I'm looking to possibly get in Hazard as well. But yeah, that turned out to be a 9-point swing. Because obviously Aubameyang getting the -1, so that if I'd have kept Aubameyang, it would have been a very disappointing game week for me, especially owning Pogba as well. I obviously captained Sterling. I didn't think it was going to be such a tight game against Bournemouth. Away at Bournemouth, I just thought that City would dominate, which they did, and there would be a few goals in it. But to give Bournemouth credit, they defended really well. There's probably a lot of tired legs out there for City. Aguero, absolutely a machine, played majority of the game, and I had the vice captain on Pogba. Now a lot of people captain Pogba. I do have my condolences to you, but it's just one of those, isn't it? You really just got to keep looking forward. Bennett, like I talked about in my video last night, he's a bit of a bittersweet result, really. He obviously got the clean sheet, got the yellow card now, which means he's suspended for 2 games. He's going to miss out in the blank game week as well. So he's pretty much useless in my team going forward now. Pereira, the all talked about Pereira, he's not done anything for me since I've got him in. Another 0, so. I can't. I'm going to have to keep hold of him, so he's going to be in my team. But I'm hoping that he starts to get some attacking returns and looking threatening for Leicester. And Trent Alexander-Arnold, like we talked about, he's an absolute bargain player. -3, clean sheets. Really happy with him. Obviously, Steve-O, you brought him in, so not much of a differential anymore on you. Fabianski with a clean sheet. Who would have thought? And just to quickly sum up, Rondon, disappointingly didn't do anything, and Jimenez, who seems to be Mr. Consistent, and he's returned again. So goal and assist for Jimenez, and people that captained Jimenez, I absolutely take my hat off to you, because you guys have won this game week, really. So yeah. And my head-to-head rival in the head-to-head FPL is Life Instagram League was Queen, FPL Queen, and she captained Higuain and beat me by a couple of points. Literally, I think she beat me by 2 or 3 points. I was like, no, but that's my team, guys, and I'm pretty pleased with my game week. 52, Green Arrow back up to 320th. I think I'm the same rank, or pretty much the same rank as I was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going back the right way now, back up the league, so on the overall rankings. And now we can talk about Steve-O's week. Steve-O, are you ready to let everybody know how your week went?
Yes, I
Okay.
beat you by. I say beat you by 1 point. I didn't. I took a -4 because, as we all found out on Thursday evening or something, when the Wolves manager came out and said that Patrizio wouldn't play. I was just like, crying out loud. That's the move. I just realised what it was. So I was going to take Rashford out for Vardy for a -4. That's what I was seriously considering doing. But then I heard the news about Patrizio being benched, and I was like, I've got no keeper, and I can't. And I was just thinking logically, like doing all the maths in my head. I read it all down on like my piece of paper and stuff like this. All this thing here, working out if I take a -4, what are going to be returns like and everything. And I went with the safety of Fabianski because I want to block yourself and along with other rivals off as well. So whatever, obviously he did, I wouldn't have counted it, but it would have just been exactly the same as whatever you got. And in a long-winded way, yeah, obviously my transfer's paid off. Alexander Hazard coming in as my captain for Salah. I'm still in that. It's going to be this until the end of the season where I'm going to be absolutely bricking it every time Liverpool play, because I'm just going to be thinking Salah's high ownership. He's a easy captain choice. I mean, he's got Burnley next, for God's sake. And I actually... We're going to talk about that on Thursday, but he's got Burnley next week. So, again, it's going to be hiding behind the couch, as they say. Anything I seem to do differential-wise to Jason, just it works, but whatever Jason seems to do, his works as well. So it doesn't matter what I do, I just can't seem to catch much ground. For example, I bring in Hazard, captain him. Jason shocked me by genuinely bringing in Higuain. I never saw that coming. And we discussed off air the last time we were on that I basically told Jason, my rival, get rid of Son, bring in Hazard. And instead he didn't. He went with Higuain for the reasons that he's just said. Perfectly logical move, makes all sense. And they basically just got the same points. Higuain got an extra, got 4 less than Hazard, so to speak, with the captain choice and everything. And it's just really, really frustrating. Yeah, I've been catching you really, really slowly, Jason. Like, really slowly. We're talking like... I mean, I could do the maths at some point. I probably will do, actually, for the next podcast. But I've been catching you up by, like, 2-3 points per game week. It's just not enough. The only good thing is the fact that I've got certain chips that you don't have. And, well, basically, it's the triple captain, isn't it, that I've got. And if I nail that, then... And there's this potential of a Man City double game week, and they've got Cardiff and Brighton both at home. So hopefully Aguero could replicate what he did versus... Who did he get the hat-trick against again? I forget. Who was that hat-trick? Treble captain. Who was that against? Everton, wasn't it? Was it Everton?
It was against Arsenal. We can get that out of the way.
Arsenal. Right,
we were in the pub watching it, and you had a double vodka Coke, or lemonade, or whatever it was.
So,
I had a cup of tea.
I need to do something to really go differential on you, Jason.
You need to. You need to score an average of 7.1 points a game week to catch me.
On top of your points, yeah.
So on top of my points, yeah.
Yeah. So the only way I can do that is by quite literally bringing in players like Lukaku for Rashford, as an example. Players like... You don't have Doherty, do you? So someone like Doherty, that I've just realised has a double game week in 2 weeks' time. It's guaranteed to play both games, I'd like to think, because they're very, very... Getting rid of Son is an absolute definite, because as people know, I play this game with literal statistics. Are they scoring goals? Yeah. So I'm going to bring him in. I'm not going to look at these. It just drives me insane. All these statistical analysis where it's like, yeah, well, he's bound to score at some point, and the player just keeps blank. Almiron is the prime example. Harvey Barnes is another example. And just go on and on and on about. But his underlying statistics are amazing. He's going to score. Don't worry about it. He ain't scoring. He's rubbish. They play for rubbish teams. It drives me up the wall. And yet, you bring in someone like, I don't know, Hazard or whatever, and it's, nah, Hazard's rubbish. He's a world-class player, for crying out loud. And he's playing Fulham. You know, okay, yeah, he only got an assist, but I just find all this underlying statistics a load of rubbish. It's just better going with, it's like that classic thing of form. Go with players that are actually doing well, i.e., you know, if you really want to go real differential, I think Lukaku is a brilliant example of somebody to bring it if you don't own Rashford, or maybe even double up with Rashford. But yeah, it's I just find, despite me keep constantly going up the overall ranks really high, catching you, Jason, it's just like feels nigh on impossible. So yeah, that's my team over and done with. Let's just quickly gloss over Darren Monday, who is third in our mini league. He got 52 points. He's 29 points behind me. And yeah, he did a -4. Really, really good team he had. He captained Pogba though, but it was his back four of Fabianski, Robertson, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Digne that got him the majority of his points, with Jimenez, his one striker, getting up there. Ben Towler, fourth spot. He's 30 points behind me. And now the gap's really opened between fourth and fifth. So again, his back line coming in really, really well there with Alisson, Wan-Bissaka and Bennett. Again, another Pogba captain, but it was his Wolves double up of Jimenez and Jota, which, as you can see, served him so well, and his differential in Vardy scoring. And yeah, that gap between fourth and fifth has really opened up. It has become now, where is it here? And I didn't even write it down. Brilliant. So, but yeah, between Ben Towler and Connor Lee, you're looking at about 20 odd points. But let's be honest here. We want to talk to Dan about his team. Let's brutally honest about things. This is disaster of a game week. You're not happy, Dan. You're angry. You know. You did a live Instagram video last night. I want you to just talk to the viewers podcast and let rip, basically.
Yeah,
just to really rub it in. You are 100. And I want to add fuel to the fire. I want to shut up and let you speak. You're 114 points off fourth, but you're 208 points chasing. I just can't fathom that. It's mental. But Dan, let rip.
Yeah, I just don't care. I couldn't wait 24 hours to have my say, so I went on Instagram last night. I was just so pissed off. I mean, what I've been thinking about while you guys have been talking is that where it's gone wrong for me. So for people watching for the first time, I was about 50, 60 points off the top four. So I kind of had a bit of an outside chance of getting in there. And the last 3 game weeks, it's just gone tits up, basically. And in this particular game week, I captained Pogba. I looked at Pogba's home record, penalty record. And of course, Pogba takes about 10 minutes to walk up to a penalty and Gunn makes a save. And I was just watching match there and I was just like, I didn't know the score when I was watching it. And I was like, oh, all right, Man United have won the game now. Go on, Pogba, get your goal. And of course, straight down the middle. So yeah, that was a nightmare. And then the whole thing about Wolves. So Jimenez is the only one of the few good things about my game week. He did well, but Doherty didn't start and Patricio didn't start. I knew Patricio wasn't going to start. So I was like, okay, let Schmeichel play. But yeah, Doherty not starting as well. Obviously, Wolves are taking the cup very seriously, which is fair enough, but they're rotating a little bit before the cup game. But yeah, just like looking at it, I think bringing in Pereira, Anderson, Rondon, kind of following the crowd over the last few weeks has really backfired on me massively because these players have really under-delivered. I mean, I watched the highlights of the West Ham Newcastle game, and when they would take Mark Noble was taking a penalty, I was even thinking, is Anderson even playing? He's not even getting in there for a potential rebound. So it just showed up. And in the highlights of the game, you weren't seeing him involved with anything. And Anderson is just for 7.2, he's just been crap, to be honest with you. And Rondon hit the post. But yeah, Rondon's not worked. Pereira's been an absolute nightmare because he obviously got booked, so he got 0 points. And I tell you what, guys, I mean, you go on about Deadwood, Westwood, 7 points, more than any of my premium midfielders on there. Wan-Bissaka, Jason's favourite players, getting highlighted on Match of the Day for another brilliant performance. Looks like a really good player.
Wan-Bissaka, I don't understand why Steve just dismisses him. Honestly, he's going to be playing for a top team. Like he'll be picked up. He'll be picked up by a top 4 team. I think. I'm convinced.
Yeah, in real life terms, he's been doing very well, but in FPL terms, he's been doing quite well for the amount of money he costs. But I honestly thought Wan-Bissaka will concede to leave him on the bench. I mean, if Doherty didn't play the whole game, Wan-Bissaka could have came off, but of course Doherty came on late on and got his standard 1 point. So, and then Aguero doing nothing against Bournemouth. I was, when I found out that Aguero started against Bournemouth, I was like, oh no, why didn't I captain Aguero? Why did I captain Pogba? Aguero's going to go mad once again.
Probably still should have captained Aguero.
He hit the crossbar with his weird lob cross shot, whatever it was he did. So it's thin margins. You know, Pogba at home, his record this season has been great. I thought, you know what, let's go for it. Let's go for Pogba. Salah not delivering again. I thought, stick with Salah, keep the faith, high ownership. So to add to what I said on Instagram, I just don't care anymore. I don't give a shit. I mean, I enjoy doing this podcast, but in terms of my mini league season, it's fucking over. Like I can't sit here and pretend like all positive and all happy and like, oh yeah, I've got all my chips. It doesn't matter because miles off. It's literally the only thing I've got to play. Well, I've got 2 things to play for: pride and potentially the highest game week score, which I did have at one point in the season, and Pete Andrews had to bloody overtake me. But yeah, whatever. Probably captain Salah against Burnley and he'll get sent off or something. So who knows? That felt good actually.
Just to explore on what you were saying, like if you don't care so much, I mean, I don't think you mean that literally, but why haven't you taken the advice of, say, me and Jason, or even Davey FPL that we interviewed, or even Jack Gleason, where they've been telling you, where we've been telling you and bombarding you, Dan, just play it safe. He's kind of like, or even like going out with the differential players which are logical, for example, players like Vardy and stuff. Why have you not done any of that?
Well, I think you're contradicting yourself there. So you're saying about playing safe, and then you're saying about differentials. I mean, my transfer that I made, bringing in Trent Alexander-Arnold, actually paid off to bring him in for Firmino. And I watched your reaction on Saturday, which was really funny. And yeah, because it was just a simple transfer. So that the only one I regret not doing, and you're going to be like, oh, you were never going to do it, is Zaha. I considered Zaha last week because, like you said, is a player in form. But I thought Palace Burnley would be quite a tight match. So yeah, I don't know really. I just thought, don't take a hit, make a sensible transfer. I looked at my team once I brought TA in, and I was like, yeah, I've got the Wolves treble up against Cardiff. Okay, Schmeichel's going to come in, fine. New manager at Leicester, Pereira, maybe he can get some returns. Pogba, home record. Brilliant form for Man United since Solskjaer's taken over. That makes sense. Jimenez, that makes sense. Aguero, away to Bournemouth, that makes sense. None of it makes any fucking sense. So it's not really...
No. What you're saying is honestly logical. I mean, to be fair, I expected Leicester to do better than what they did, and Pogba missing that penalty. That's just one of those, man. I mean, it could have been a whole different story for Pogba at the weekend, and also for people that own Rashford. Rashford was the one that got fouled in the penalty area. So I mean, as a Steve-O owns Rashford, that would have been an assist for Rashford as well. So even more points gained on me if that had gone in. So it really is like it is luck in terms of like whether they score a penalty, whether they miss. You just don't know. But it's it's one of those weeks where you just got to think, it's just write it off. I know you just want to give up now, but just play for fun. A couple of guys in chat were saying they're going to just play for fun, do some crazy maverick moves, see how they pay off. You might get a great week and think, well, maybe I've got an outside chance to try and claw myself back into the top 4. You never know. You never know. I mean, you've still got your triple captain, haven't you?
Yeah, I got it all. I mean,
so Steve-O's saying about this possible City double game week. I mean, Aguero. I mean, you just don't know what could be around the corner, and all it would take is something crazy like Aguero to score 4 goals or something, and you triple captain it. Like, and it'll just be like amazing. I love FPL. That's what it would be like. But yeah, the Daily Llama's in chat saying it's the thing that is. Think the thing is worth remembering that loads have found this season totally bizarre at times. All we're missing in the blankety blank checkbook and pen. The thing is, I think you're right there. I mean, if you look at a lot of these hardened, experienced FPL managers, there's a lot of them that aren't doing very well, and there's a lot of them that are outside the top 100,000 at the moment. I think Vili Ronka's plummeting to like 60 or 70,000 or more in the world now, and he's kind of put up as being a very, very almost put up on a pedestal really as to be a very high standard of FPL manager. And it's just been, and I agree with what Llama says. I mean, it has been a very odd season where like recent weeks as well, there's been a lot of popular and big players that have just blanked or got minuses, and it's just one of those where the outside differentials have paid off, and I mean, you just gotta just take the rough with the smooth, to coin a phrase that another podcast says, and just live with it really, and just carry on for next week. I mean, that's what footballers do. They look at next week, so just plan for game week 30.
Yes, yeah. I mean, to add to what you're saying, it's just been it's like anything in life, when your form's up, your confidence is up, and you make the right decisions. But it's just the last 3 game weeks have just been terrible. And I do excuse my bad language. I don't normally swear on the podcast, but just getting so wound up about constantly, like, as I said, De La Feu, take him out. He does nothing for like 5 or 6 weeks, and then he gets a hat trick. Salah does nothing at home to Watford when they win 5-0. Oh man, Pogba at home. I could just go on and on and on and on. But like I said, I will. Dale Bellamy actually. I spoke with Dale Bellamy, who's actually in our mini league, or 12-8 Elite mini league, and he said, "Don't you just think a lot of might be a bit controversial saying this, but some of the players in our league, like the ones that aren't putting a lot of thought into it, are actually doing quite well. And how much of FPL is actually just luck? Because when I got 107 points." I was actually sat in the pub and I said to some of the guys that were in the league I'm with, I was just like, yeah, I didn't have time to do my team, I couldn't be bothered. And they were like, you're on a podcast and you take FPL very seriously and you got 107 points. Of course you did your team. I'm like, no, I didn't. And it was just, a bit of it was just luck, really.
But,
so
yeah, going on what you're saying though, absolutely. But I also think not only luck, but your gut. And like we said it a few weeks back, and you've even said it yourself. Sometimes you get this gut feeling of doing something, you don't do it because logic said something, or maybe you just don't want to take the risk of making a -4 or whatever like that. But like a great example would be that Aubameyang to Higuain. I had this gut feeling that I wanted Higuain in my team, and I wanted Aubameyang out. And like you can't underestimate sometimes your gut feeling. Like sometimes you just got to listen to it. I think some people are too, like a lot of people are worried about making moves that maybe aren't the most popular picks, and especially price rises. So many people get hung up over. I'm honestly now, I've not looked at any of these price rises websites for the last 2 weeks. I couldn't care less who's going up in price. I couldn't care less who's going down in price, because they can sway your decisions. Like they can make you bring in a player that you just scared that you're going to miss out. Fear of missing out is a big thing in FPL. And I mean, yeah, I've had a couple of shocking weeks recently, but they've been, fortunately I haven't dropped too badly. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, just go with your, go with your gut. And if you're gonna just play for fun, we've all got to have fun playing the game at the end of the day. and stick by your decisions. Have faith in your decisions.
Yeah, I don't know. What are people saying in the chat? Any more comments at all?
Yeah, so basically, Bhaskar Bora has asked Stevo thoughts on Mkhitaryan and Tielemans.
Ooh, Tielemans.
Mkhitaryan is somebody to monitor. I wouldn't worry about him against Man United for this week, although Arsenal at home are actually very, very good. But I'd monitor Mkhitaryan, but Tielemans, waste of time. I wouldn't worry about Tielemans. I'd be more interested in getting in. If I was to get a Leicester midfielder, is it going to be Harvey Barnes?
Maddison, yeah. Maddison.
But if I was to get a Leicester player, it would be Vardy, without question.
Is he injured, or he's unlikely to miss out? Surely next game. I think he was.
Just a bump on the head. I think it'd be fine. Yeah. I was just gonna say that I think it's just to clarify what I was meaning, Dan, in like playing it safe but with differentials. What I was kind of getting at is not as in playing it safe as in having the same players that Jason would have or I would have. I mean, like bringing in players which are just they're a differential in the sense of the grand scheme of things. So, for example, Hazard. He's a differential, but he's a very safe option because when he plays against rubbish teams, you're pretty much guaranteed that he's going to get your points. Whereas a differential like, I keep picking on Harvey Barnes, but it's just true. It's like someone like Harvey Barnes. There's no actual data there that says, yeah, he will get you something against X, Y, and Z team because he's just not giving you those actual points. People like you've got Felipe Anderson and stuff. I mentioned him the other week. He hasn't done anything for like 9-10 game weeks. Why have people still got him? Why are people keeping the faith? Because of what he did before. Well, there are players at the moment which are performing a hell of a lot better than him, even within the West Ham team. So, that's what I was kind of getting at regarding differential, but playing it safe, which is kind of what I'm trying to do to catch up on Jason. But like I said, everything I seem to do, Jason will counter it by doing something else, really. Jason.
I guess what I want to try and put across to people, and then anyone watching that's in the same sort of boat as Dan or maybe hasn't had great game weeks. I mean, it's the frame of mind. At the end of a game week, do you want to be saying to yourself, oh my God, I really thought that player was going to return me points? Or if you're finding yourself saying, oh my God, why on earth did I bring that player in for? I knew he wouldn't do anything. So it's that frame of mind. I know it sounds really simple and it's really basic, but like if you're asking yourself why you brought a player in, then obviously you weren't convinced in the first place. But if you're saying to yourself that you were genuinely convinced that player was going to do something, then like you're on to the right sort of frame of mind in playing FPL. Because I don't know if I can put that across. I don't know if I'm having trouble putting that across to people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and Aguero not scoring against a Bournemouth team that haven't been defending very well all season, that's surprising to me. Pogba missing a penalty and getting -2 is genuinely surprising to me. I wouldn't be saying, oh my God, why have I got Pogba in my team? Oh my God, well, I should never have got him in my team in the first place. It's all about the frame of mind. And obviously going forward, Salah is Salah is getting to that point now where you can start to question whether or not why is he in my team? For the money that he costs, why? But anyway, without digressing too much, Steve-O, what do you want to say?
No, I was just going to... That is exactly the point. It's someone like Salah. So you've just mentioned Pogba. The chance of the miss of the penalty is very, very slim. I don't know how often he has missed a penalty, but let's be honest here. The likelihood of scoring a penalty is quite high. That's just tiny, fine margins. So someone like Dan captaining, it's like, yeah, it's just, okay, unfortunate. But captaining someone like Salah for this game week when the actual stats say this will probably be a very tight game. You look at Salah's form at the moment, it's rubbish. So if you were to captain him and someone's going to complain, why didn't he do anything? Well, there's logic there that he didn't do anything because it's there staring at you in the face, you know? Whereas someone like me, captaining someone like Hazard against Fulham, you know, he goes and gets me what I expected. It's the same with you getting Higuain. There's just so much logic there to go. And even when you got rid of Aubameyang, even if you have this gut feeling about him or whatever, the real logic is he does rubbish against top six and he does rubbish away from home. So there's your answer. Whereas Higuain's up against a Fulham team who are absolutely appalling, and he will there's a more higher chance of him scoring against Fulham than Aubameyang anything against Tottenham, albeit he missed a penalty. Again, little tiny small margins like that, but there's nothing you can do with that information whatsoever.
Absolutely. Clement LaRue in chat saying most times social media plays a big role in our team selections. At times we go with the crowd. It's either good or it could be very bad. I.e. Pogba captain as this week. Absolutely. People go on websites such as Final Fantasy Scout, and it's a great website. They look at the poll to see who's the most captain player. They can decide, shall I play it safe? Yeah, a lot of times people do play it safe. But the thing is, it is a lottery. FPL is a lottery. You wouldn't go to the shop and ask the person next to you, "Oh, can you pick my 7 lottery numbers?" Would you? But it's like, was it 6? I can't remember. I haven't done a lottery for years. But the point I'm trying to get at is that you've got a brain in between your ears, and you've really got to use it. And part of this podcast is to just try and give people ideas and inspire people into thinking about certain options and thought processes. Obviously we don't say, "Oh, you need to get this player in, you need to captain this player," because there's no right and wrong. And as you've already said different combinations can work out in each week. So you're frustrated that you can't catch me, Steve. We've got different players, and certain players are scoring each week, and I've managed to have players covering the players that haven't scored for me. So there's a lot of variables that go into FPL, and just use that grey matter between your ears. That's all I'm going to say. We've got form and fixtures. What's that meme that I keep seeing on Reddit? I took the odds from the bookies and converted it to percentages. That's anyway. So yeah, guys, carry on asking me questions in chat and I'll read them out. Is there anything else you want to add on, Dan, Steve-O?
Oh, I would just add, regards to the point you were saying about Aubameyang and stuff, as an Arsenal fan, you've got to be careful with Arsenal assets because Emery loves to spin the wheel. I mean, we know about Pep's roulette as it is with his rotation policy, but in that particular game, it was like, Guendouzi went off at half time. Torreira come on in the second half. He clearly has a plan. He clearly likes to rotate Aubameyang and Lacazette, and you've got to think about Europa League and stuff as well. So yeah, there's certainly logic to it. He is quite unpredictable, and I think he was thinking that, particularly in a away game against Tottenham, that Ramsey and Lacazette will be better than Ozil and Aubameyang because of their work rate. So you got to be careful with those Arsenal assets. But that's what I want to say, really.
We got Basketball in chat saying something off topic. Game week 37 in the dream week to free hit. I don't know if I agree. I don't know about that. What about you, Steve-O?
I have no idea once my screen actually comes up. I just was trying to work out why potentially from my end, it's constantly crackling up and everything. Is it because I'm using my PlayStation at the same time as using the Skype call? I have no idea, because obviously they're both using the Wi-Fi at the same time. If we just quickly skip ahead to Game Week 37. Game Week 37, is that the last
penultimate
game week of the season?
It's the penultimate.
It's the penultimate, is it? Yeah, I thought so, yeah. But if I just quickly skip through, but I would rather use a free hit in either. Well, I've already used it, haven't I? So as you, Jason. And speaking to Dan or anybody that hasn't used it, I would certainly use a free hit more likely in a double game week, or even potentially this particular game one. But I'm just quickly scouring over.
I was going to go 34.
Yeah. It's going to be either wherever double game week that comes up, that's when I would consider using the wild card. But looking at game week 27,
it depends on your team as well, doesn't it? It depends on what team you've got as well, and how many players to feature in the week after you free hit. So, or blank. I mean, using it on a blank game week, which is the most popular way of using a free hit.
Yes.
Obviously, your team will depend on when you use it. I mean, game week 31, people will be using. I dare say people will be using it game week 31. to load up on, if they haven't already. Got lots of Liverpool, 3 Chelsea, maybe 2 Leicester, 2 Newcastle. I don't think I'm in agreement with you. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game week. Game week 31, I don't think it's going to be a biggie. Somebody asked in the comments earlier on, how many players do you think we should have in game week 31? I think, like you said the other day, 10 players. You don't really need 11. If you can field 10 players, you should be all right.
I think a minimum of 9, minimum of 8 actually, minimum of 8, maximum 10. If that's, I don't think it's worth taking, -8 or something like that just to get 11 players out. I think the majority of people, but I'm not really. Like you've just said, it's a load of rubbish, really. But shall we just quickly move on to the Elite FPL podcast mini?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. So, the FPL Podcast League, second place, John Harris.
I'm chatting to myself. Great, but yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. So John Harris is second in the Elite FPL Podcast League. He scored 57 points.
He's only 5 points behind. 7 points behind Jason. How are you feeling about that?
Feeling like I felt all season. I mean, it's just I'm looking forward. I'm not looking behind me.
That's it, man.
What do you think of his wildcard team, though? Because I was really, really happy that he went Salah-less.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a solid team. He's obviously setting himself up well for the blank game week. He's obviously got Robertson, Alexander-Arnold. I would like both of those in my team. He's got Hazard. I'd like him in my team. He's got Vardy. I would like him in my team. David Luiz, I'd like him in my team. He's got Brooks, I'd like him in my team. It's a bit.
Don't say that again. I'm going to pick up the phone.
Honestly, he's got players that I'd like in my team. So he's
that's it.
So yeah, well done. I mean, it could work out. He's chose to wildcard now. It could pay off. Only in the next few game weeks we will know. But it's decisions to do this, or it's these moves that can really propel you forward, and you could claim top spot in the next upcoming weeks. Next week maybe. So we'll be keeping a close eye on John Harris.
Kelvin Chow in third spot got a very in fact, third and fourth, and Jack Gleeson got a terrible results there of 39 and 33 respectively. So Kelvin behind second place is 22 points behind. Jack Gleeson really falling. He's 17 off third spot. But something we wanted to mention, Jason, regarding the Manager of the Month award mug, if you want to take it away, regarding Chris Judge.
Right, yeah. So we've got we obviously, for the people that know in chat, we've got a Manager of the Month for the Elite FPL Podcast League, and that means the person that's got the highest scoring total at the end of each month, starting last month, wins an Elite FPL Podcast mug. And the winner in February was Chris Judge, and I've tried to find him on Instagram and Twitter, and I can't seem to find his profile. He's kind of off the grid. So Chris, if you are watching this, please get in contact with us via Instagram or via Facebook or via Twitter. One of the avenues. Let us know, and we can get you a Elite FPL mug after you. If you don't contact us within the next, I would say, we'll give you to the 10th. We'll give you another 6 days. It was originally going to be a week. We'll give you another 6 days because obviously the warning is now. Then we'll send it out to the second place player, who I can't recall who it was, but we'll work out who it is, and we'll go from there.
Jeff Udian.
Okay, Jeff, stand by. You may be receiving a mug, and anyone that may be interested in an Elite FPL mug. You can also contact me, and for a nominal fee of, I believe it was £10, we'll ship it out to you. So, if you haven't seen it, I can go and get it. One moment. Talk amongst yourself.
When you get those mugs, make sure you share them on Instagram. and tag us in the photo so we can see you with your Elite FPL mug and share it with all your friends. Tell us what you drink.
Blimey, this podcast has become almost like a lock, stock and two smoking barrels. You've got Jason threatening Chris if you don't contact us, he's going to basically get rid of there's the mug. You've got Dan threatening people if they don't share the old picture on Instagram. Go on, join Elite FPL. You may get beaten up, but so far at the moment, the March FPL manager of the month so far after the first game week is a player called John Hatcher. So there we are, another Acu Harry from Lockstock Harry. John Hatcher, yeah, he's number one at the moment. But then there's a few regulars I see here that are actually in the running as well after the first game. Kyle Morris, John Chappell, John Harris, Daniel Ash. I know they're in the top 7 at the moment. Or I know it's only been one game week, but they're in the top 7 of the March Manager of the Month award so far. But yeah, any more thoughts in the old chat before we wrap up, Jason?
So yeah, bit of pep talk for Dan. Stick with it, Dan. Reset and go again. John Harris says. John Harris also says gut, luck, and form in fixtures is what you should use to go forward in FPL. Something off topic. Game week 37 is a dream week. Oh, I've already read that out. Do you know if City will have a double game week for game week 32? I don't know. Do you guys know?
I heard that it could be game week 35, as I mentioned earlier.
I didn't think it was as soon. I didn't think it was as soon as 32.
No.
No,
I
think.
Right, Clement
I think it was
asking,
game week 35, and it was Cardiff and Brighton.
Clement LaRue's asking, gents, what are we doing with our Wolves assets? Now Bennett is getting the boot for me. What about your Wolves assets, guys?
Whoa! I mean, Jimenez has been fantastic.
Hey, why is he suspended?
10 yellow cards.
What? How many? 10. All right, okay.
It's a bit of a magnet. It's a bit
He's
of a yellow
not back
card
till
magnet.
The 2nd of April. He's not back till the 2nd of April. Well, why is he out? Is that because I'm supposed to?
It's 2 game
FA
weeks.
Cup and
He
everything
blanks. He blanks in game week 31, and he's got a game either side of it that he's not playing in, and so.
Well, I've already looked. I mean, again, we're not going to go into full detail on this, but I've already kind of looked at, because I've got money in the bank now. I think for me personally, I'm probably going to go with Doherty as a replacement, or maybe Johnny. I'm gonna look at the statistics, of course, but as it stands, because Wolves have got a blank. Plus, they got their double up against United, their game week 32 double. So I think having 2 Wolves would be ideal because they like to play the top 6 teams. They'll also play us, Burnley, and that what do we call it, fixture as well. So I think having 2 Wolves, or if you want to have 3, that would be more to counter what the majority of people own anyway. That's probably what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to bring in either Doherty or Johnny for Bennett. In that particular case, what do you think, Dan? Seeing as you've got Doherty and what, just happy to stick with him?
Yeah, I mean, I've had Doherty in since I did my wild card way back when, and he's done pretty well for me. To be fair, Patricio, not too sure because I've still got Schmeichel. Though obviously he's going to play game week 31, so that's a bit of a tricky one to call. But yeah, like I was trying to say before, Jimenez has been good value, really good value throughout. There's been one of the few bonuses for the last game weeks, but yeah, obviously, stick with Doherty for sure.
We've got Sashin in chat. I'm hoping that's how you say your name. Do you guys cover the Champions League fantasy game as well? It would be awesome. We don't at the moment. I've not actually played it before. Any of you guys play the fantasy for the Champions League fantasy game?
No, I haven't. It seems very popular. Maybe if Arsenal don't get back into the Champions League, then maybe I can play it so I can feel like a part of the Champions League. But I did before the 2010 World Cup, I actually paid, was it like a fiver to join the actual thing, but I never did a team, so it was just like, I just forgot about it. So FPL, Fantasy Premier League is the only fancy game I've played.
Yeah, we're dedicating a lot of time for the FPL. So if this channel ever grew to a substantial following with like tens of thousands of subs, then maybe. But at the moment, we're too small for dedicating all of our lives to fantasy football. Three podcasts a week we're knocking out on average, and it's quite a bit of a task to sometimes get everybody together and get all the content made. So yeah, we're just going to focus on Premier League fantasy football. Transfer plans, Baskar Boris said. Well, I've got 4.2 million smackaroos burning a hole in my pocket.
Can't get my head around that. 4.2 in the bank.
Money in the bank.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of doing something like Bennett to Louise or something like that, Son to Hazard is still on the cards probably. I don't know. I'm just gonna look at options. We'll talk about it more on Thursday night probably as we look ahead to game week 30. No worries, Sachin. We always try to answer people's questions in chat. We've fortunately got the three of us, and I'm normally monitoring chat. So when these guys are gassing, I can remember what people have said and look back at what the comments have said. I was actually funny the other day. There's a podcast that I watch, and they had no audio for I think 5 minutes, and the chat was, as there's about 300 people in chat all saying no audio for about 5 minutes before they had realised. So you should always look at chat. You should always look at chat, because chat helps you out and chat will give you good input. And our chat always gives us good questions and input.
And I think just to add on that, I keep banging on about this, but I think something that I'm very proud of, and I know you, Tar, is that we're building up a really nice community. I think that involving you guys on chat and everything helps us grow the channel. And, people like you join, for instance, myself, when I do my spontaneous live team selection solo podcasts, and you guys just happily chat away and chat while I just sit here like I'm now staring at a computer, at a TV screen, revealing my immediate thoughts to the teams ahead. And I know that guys in the community really, really enjoy that, and because I think you guys relate with us, and I think that's one of the key things to building a good podcast: relatability. I think that really concludes it there, Dan, unless you've got any final thoughts before we go.
I've got a final thought, actually, and it's just this little theory I've got when we dismissed Mkhitaryan earlier on. And the reason being is that players always seem to do well against their old teams. You're not fine. Like, obviously, they go back and they got a point to prove and they kind of know the opposition. So do you guys think, it's the final question, that it's worth like captaining or bringing players in just based on when they're playing against their old teams and they got a good run of fixtures? Would you captain a player playing against his old team on that basis? Because it seems to happen so... I mean, Mkhitaryan's already scored against United. Sanchez has scored against Arsenal in the FA Cup. But it does happen very often. A little theory there.
I've seen enough games of Mkhitaryan for United and for Arsenal to know that he is so inconsistent with his performances.
Yeah, but not...
But, I mean, I will say... He was very impressive. I would say he was my man of the match for Arsenal. He played really well.
Yeah, but that's not the question I'm asking. The question I'm asking
is
that would you players playing against their former teams, so say like Lukaku against Everton, and he's in your team, you think, well, hold on a minute, he's up against his old team. It happens all the time. I'm thinking about it more and more.
Okay. So you're going to get a Mkhitaryan in?
No, obviously. But I just think there's something in that where, if you've got a player time, if you're a bit stuck for a captain choice, it does seem to happen all the time in football. So I don't know, just a bit of a random thought. But
There you
yeah,
go.
ending that now, that random thought.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us in the chat, contributing, letting us know your thoughts. Really appreciate that. If you are new to the podcast, please do subscribe. We really do appreciate it. Like and comment. Give us any feedback that you've got. And we're also on Instagram and Twitter. So we're quite active on those social media platforms. Please feel to connect with us. Obviously, it's at Elite FPL. Do some extra videos and content on there. And yeah, just thanks again for watching. And look forward to seeing you later in the week on Thursday. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.